my god! Oh man, oh, you see, this is. Oh, I forgot this shit's it's out of battery. I gotta charge it. Whatever, man. I don't care. Oh, I just watched the last episode of Ahsoka. Oh my god, the mic isn't even here. I just watched the last episode of Ahsoka, episode 4, right? And I'm gonna spoil this episode, so if you haven't seen it, but you pause, you go watch it, you come back here, like the video and all that good stuff too. Oh my god, Dave Filoni, what have you done to me? As a Star Wars fan, I don't think I've been this emotionally affected by Star Wars in a long time, right? Like, that might sound like hyperbole, but this last week, right? I reviewed episode 3 of Ahsoka, right? And I said that, the episode was way too short, like some of the content in it was way too short, right? But that was, some of the content in it was good, but it was way too short, right? You get here to this episode, that's not a problem. No. Filoni made up for that, man. This episode had like 3 different I can't even talk, it's how good it was. 3 different lightsaber fights, man, right? And they're pretty good. We got to see Ahsoka take on Merrick the Inquisitor. We got to see Shin and Sabine go round 2. That fight, like their fights are not that impressive because they're not like masters, right? They're not that good. Ahsoka versus Merrick was really good, which I'll say pretty good with a really interesting ending that I'm like, what's gonna come to that? And then we had Ahsoka versus Baylan Skoll, which was a really good lightsaber fight. Now listen, man, like nothing. I feel like Star Wars lightsaber fights have not touched the prequels since the prequels, right? Like I thought the Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan fights in the Obi-Wan show, more so the last one, was pretty good, right? Pretty good. The sequel fights were not good. They just weren't. They were terrible. They just weren't good, right? So it's a thing where like I don't believe we'll ever get to the level of Anakin versus Obi-Wan in episode 3 or Duel of the Fates. I don't think we're ever gonna get those. I just don't. That's until someone comes along. Maybe Dave Filoni in his Heir of the Empire film, will prove me wrong and be like, all right, this is how you do a lightsaber fight, in a movie, right? Maybe that's what's gonna happen. I don't know, but I feel like nothing is gonna touch the prequel lightsaber fights, right? I've accepted that, but this was still what we had. What we had in this episode, Baylan versus Ahsoka, was probably the best Disney era lightsaber fight. I don't think it's a far stretch to say that. And again, you could say that's a very low bar, but that's how I feel, right? So let me try and backtrack again. I'm gonna spoil this episode, man. I can't talk about this without spoilers. So I probably won't even like upload this until tomorrow morning because I'm recording this right after it, on Tuesday night, right? We get to Morgan Elsbeth getting ready to get in that hyperspace ring and go off and find Thrawn, right? Go rescue Thrawn and inadvertently Ezra too, you would imagine. Ahsoka fights Merrick the Inquisitor, the masked Inquisitor that people, thought was either Starkiller or, Barriss Offee. Some were like, it's Ezra, which wouldn't make any sense. That'd been stupid. Meanwhile, Sabine was fighting Shin, right? And when Ahsoka beats Merrick, she cuts him like right in like the midsection, right? And I was just like, oh, okay, so he really wasn't anything special. He was just like, because in the back of my mind, I was just like, maybe he is Starkiller. Who knows? But she cuts him and that's it, seemingly, right? I'm just like, okay, he was just fodder for Ahsoka. No. As Ellie Knight would say, nada. Some smoke, some type of ethereal smoke monster from like Lost comes out of his wound, goes like, and flies off. No one questions it, right? No one is like, what? What does that mean? What? They just kind of move on. So obviously there's more to Merrick than what we assumed. And I thought for a second, like the scream, I was like, that sounds like a Sam Witwer's type of scream. I've heard Sam Witwer scream enough. That sounds weird, between him playing Starkiller in the games, right? Between him being Maul and screaming, him being the son in Star Wars The Clone Wars on the Mortis episode, which, that might be what it is. That might be what it is. Like, he may not be Starkiller, he may be the son. And what made me think of this was Star Wars Theory. I didn't even watch the video. I just saw a thumbnail of him saying, Ahsoka heard the son. And now, I don't remember, I'm trying to remember, like, in what episodes of Ahsoka so far, and you guys have to help me jog my memory here, did she hear, like, a voice? I don't remember that. But I saw that thumbnail for that video. I was just like, okay, interesting. But then I saw that. I saw the smoke monster leave Merrick's body and scream, and it kind of sounded like Sam Witwer. I was like, oh my god, what if it is the son? What if Merrick is like the son from Mortis? I don't know what reason he would have to be in like an Inquisitor's body or something. I don't know what that. I have no idea what any of that is. But considering that Ahsoka was on Mortis, right? And she was taken control of by the son on Mortis. Maybe there's something there. Maybe, no pun intended, where there's smoke, there's fire with that. We'll have to keep an eye on that, I'll see what kind of theory crafting Star Wars Theory does on that. But we get to Ahsoka fighting Balin's skull, right? In order to get the map. And she talks about, he talks about how like he knew Anakin and all that good stuff, right? Or it's like he knew of him, whatever. And they start fighting, and it's a really good fight. It's a really good fight, with some pretty damn good choreography, man. Like I was watching it, I'm just like, it's like, damn, dude. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. I wish he could be around more. Like I don't know if his character is gonna survive past this or he's gonna die or whatnot, but like I would love to see him in more Star Wars stuff, swinging lightsabers, right? He seems like a natural. And it gets to a point where, Ahsoka's on the ropes, or more specifically on a cliff that could, she could fall over, right? Sabine showed up because Shin pulled a Batman smoke bomb and ran away. Sabine gets the map, the orb, threatens to shoot it. And we know she's not going to shoot it because earlier in the episode, Ahsoka put forth the idea that maybe if we can't stop them from getting, if we can't stop them from finishing their hyperspace ring and going to get Thrawn, we should just destroy the means to find Thrawn, and therefore the means to find Ezra. And Sabine is like, I don't know about that. I don't know. There's going to be another way. So when she's threatening to shoot the map, we know she's not going to do it because of that conversation earlier. Okay, she cares too much about Ezra to let him go, right? And what happened? Balin, it was like a distraction thing, right? Where like Shin showed up, Ahsoka just pushed her to a pillar, concussion, CTE certified, and Balin like throws Ahsoka off the cliff, right? And he manipulates Sabine into giving him the map so that he can, he promises, I will help you find Ezra. You will have Ezra back, and I will go and do my greater good mission, whatever that is. And Sabine, poor naive Sabine, gives in because she cares about Ezra just that much. Now I'm curious as to whether or not, right, people who have people who haven't seen Rebels, right? I wonder how they would think about that, because watching it, me as someone who's seen all the Rebels, like I 100% get it. Like I was screaming and begging for her not to do it, but like I knew she was going to do it because of how much she cares for Ezra and how much we saw of that relationship in the Rebels show. So like I'm fine with that. I get it, But I wonder, for people who haven't seen Rebels, who don't have that emotional baggage, how does that play? Is it gonna feel kind of like are they going to feel like when Star-Lord uh messed up things in Infinity War, when he found out that Thanos killed Gamora? Like, I wonder, you guys tell me in the comments, right? If you haven't seen Rebels, how did that scene play to you? Are you just like, no, Sabine's just an idiot, stupid, I hate her? Do you feel like that, or not? And if you have seen Rebels, do you still feel like that, or you're just like, nah, I get it, I get it, Because that was as I was watching her, I was watching that performance, I was just like, oh, I'm feeling all the Rebels right now, dude. I'm feeling it, and how she's already lost so much. Her family, she lost Kanan and stuff. It's just like, damn. So, she gives in. They go to Morgan Elsbeth, gives her, I'm trying to see. They kept the map open long enough for them to have the coordinates, I think. Or was it just long enough to finish the hyperdrive? I think that was it. It was long enough to finish the hyperdrive or whatever. To then get there. He destroys the map so that no one can follow him. Gets in the hyperspace ring. Hera and the New Republic show up with the X-Wing dude. What's his name? Carson. That we've seen in Mandalorian. All 3 seasons, right? Mando's buddy. But they're too late. Hyperspace ring booms off. And they're off to find Thrawn and Ezra. And I assume because of how big that hyperspace ring is, they're probably going to fit Thrawn's Star Destroyer into that thing and then come back. Then the moment happens that made me, as a Star Wars fan, as a fan of Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and a fan of Ahsoka, and a moment that made me cry. Matter of fact, I'm getting teary-eyed right now. You can't even, can you see them warming up? Can you see them welling up in my eyes right now, dude? I'm such a nerd for this, man. Ahsoka, we pan over and we find that Ahsoka's not in the water. No. And she's on this starry platform, and immediately I'm like, oh my god, she's in the world between worlds. And what I literally said, the moment that I figured that out, I was just like, if she hears, hey Snips, I'm going to lose it. And oh my god, I lost it. She got up, you hear, hey Snips, and it's Hayden Christensen's voice, and he's like, it's been a long time, or whatever he says. They turn around, she turns around, Hayden Christensen standing right there in his Anakin Episode 3 costume and the hair, and he's de-aged a bit. The de-aging isn't perfect to where he looks exactly like he was in Episode 3, but it's clear that they at least made the effort this time to de-age him, unlike in the Obi-Wan show for that flashback. And Ahsoka says Anakin, and that's the cliffhanger ending. I thought the cliffhanger ending was gonna be we see Thrawn. No, the cliffhanger ending was Anakin and Ahsoka in live action for the first time. And I fell to my knees. I'm not kidding you. I fell to my knees, hit the floor, grabbed my lightsaber, which still isn't charged. God, why is it charging? Charge, you fool. I'm such a nerd. I'm such a nerd, man. I fell to my knees, dude, like I was in church. And I was just... I feel so pathetic, dude. This is an A+ episode. This might be the greatest episode of any Star Wars show we've had in live action so far on disneyplus. Dave Filoni, a genius, dude. Y'all don't understand. Anakin Skywalker is my favorite character in all of Star Wars, right? He is. So, his relationship with Ahsoka hits very personal with me, dude. Watching all the Clone Wars, it was personal with me. Clone Wars Season 7, when Order 66 went down, it hurt. Rebels, when they fight in Rebels, and he calls out to her and she hears his name. It's just, oh god. Someone send this to Dave Filoni. I want to send this. I'm gonna clip. I'm gonna clip this review. I'm gonna send it to Dave. I don't know if Dave Filoni even has it on Twitter. I'm gonna send it to him on Twitter so he understands what he's done to me. To me as a Star Wars fan. God, I love Star Wars.